Would it be nice if the notoriously hard tasks such as exercising, studying or building a side business were as easy as slumping on the couch, binge watching your favorite show on Netflix for hours while munching popcorn? I have good news for you. It is possible. In fact, that is a major factor in how many successful people became successful. By knowing and applying one psychological trick, you can increase your chances of succeeding in basically any endeavor you want. In this video, I will tell you the ultimate trick, explain why it's so important for success, and give you some actionable steps for applying the trick in your life, along with some examples. So let's get straight into it. So here's the trick. Learn to spike your dopamine from the effort itself instead of the end result. In other words, learn to view and experience the effort, not the end result, as the reward. Or learn to get to a flow state. It's pretty much all the same. For example, learn to make the studying itself rewarding instead of good grades. Or learn to enjoy the exercise itself instead of working out for the sake of the benefits that come afterwards, like the gains in your health or physical appearance. Not only does learning this trick make reaching your goals much easier, but it will make the journey a lot more pleasurable too. Sounds like a pretty awesome deal to me. How about you? But why is that, you may ask? Well, here's the brief explanation. Our brain is not designed to do the unnecessary hard work. We human beings have evolved into dopamine addicts. Every one of us. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward that is released in our brains in response to positive experiences. But the tricky thing about dopamine is that every time you experience a spike in dopamine, it lowers the so-called baseline soon after. And the more you continue the high dopamine act, the lower the baseline will drop. That means after the dopamine spike, we feel less enthusiasm and motivation overall than before. Over time, the dopamine levels get back to the normal baseline if we neglect the high dopamine behavior. That reward system was key to our ancestors to survive and thrive. Unfortunately, it doesn't serve us very well to achieve the big goals that don't offer immediate gratification we have in today's overly abundant society. That's the reason in a nutshell why hard things are, well, hard. It also explains why we need to learn to quote-unquote exploit the ancient reward system in our brain. It's not easy, but it definitely will be worthwhile. Now that you are aware of what is happening behind the scenes, let's uncover the ways to hack into this reward system and make those unnecessary hard tasks more appealing to our so easily distracted brains. So here comes some actionable stuff for you, how to learn to spike your dopamine from the effort instead of the result. Here's how. 1. Shift your identity. 2. Form new habits. I know these two are very large subjects of their own, so for the purpose of this video, I will explain the essentials concerning the main topic of this video, so that you can understand the big picture and start the process of implementation. If these kinds of subjects interest you on a deeper level, this channel will be worth subscribing for you. Shift your identity. You have to be the change you wish to see. As cheesy as it sounds, it still holds the water. So, how to shift identity? I like to view identity and identity shifting as a continuous loop that looks like this. Your thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions lead to results and ideally progress. And finally, results lead back to your thoughts. Same old results validate your thoughts, whereas new results can nudge your thoughts to another direction. So, to change your results, the first step is to change your thoughts and self-talk. Just like learning a new habit, identity shift is not an event. It's a process that requires time. The fastest and the easiest way to start and take advantage of identity shifting is simply changing your language. Phrases like "I can't," "I must," or "I should" suggest to your brain that this is not who you are, this is not your identity, which threatens your ego, which triggers resistance. Replace such phrases with "I am" or something else that is strictly an identity-driven statement. That way you start immediately shifting your identity, which leads to your actions to follow more naturally. For example, replace "I must study harder" with "I'm studious" to shift your language from the place of restrictions towards the actual identity, what you want to become. The biggest goal for identity shifting is that the process of whatever you want to achieve becomes intrinsically rewarding, which is actually also a requirement for the flow state. Never miss a day for doing something that validates your desired identity. At first, it is kinda like fake it till you make it, but don't let that discourage you. Remember, identity shift is a process, not an overnight one-time event. When you change your thoughts and self-talk, your brain can start feeling anxious without the evidence to support your new planted thoughts. So, now is the perfect time to create new habits to support your identity shift, one step at a time. 4 new habits. Step 1. Consciously manipulate the tasks and your environment. When you are aware of the tendency to procrastinate on the hard but important tasks, when there are plenty of easier and more immediately rewarding ones, one trick is to do some good old-fashioned preparation. For example, let's say you really need to dedicate your time to study for an important exam. Before you start studying, adjust your environment the way it makes studying 1. As easy, 2. as obvious, 3. as attractive, and 4. as satisfying as possible. In addition, do the opposite to all possible distractions. Identify all potential distractions and remove them completely if possible, or at least make them as hard, obscure, unattractive, and dissatisfying as possible. Put major obstacles in the way so that it is in every way less compelling to even start the distractive behavior in the first place. For example, if scrolling on social media is your major source of distraction, you can simply put your phone off. Or you can put it on the top shelf of a closet, so that you need a chair to get it back, and then place all the chairs in another room when it's time to concentrate on studying. Also, take everything you may need when you study, like a pen, notebook, etc., easily accessible beforehand, so that maintaining the focus on studying stays as effortless as possible. The key is to identify all the major distractions for you specifically, and make those activities in every way as misappealing as possible, so that it requires serious effort to get distracted. That way you will have enough time to catch yourself and shift your focus back to the important task at hand, even if you do get distracted from time to time. Step 2. Remove the pressure and start small. Commit to 2 minutes or even just getting ready. There's no better way to kill your newborn habit to be to its cradle than overwhelming yourself by looking at a major intimidating task as a whole and thinking that you have to tackle it all at once. No, in fact, that is the surest way to let your brain convince you to procrastinate. Instead, ask yourself, what is the first thing I can do to proceed? Even write it on the paper. When you have the answer to that question, commit to that first thing for 2 minutes. That's right, 2 minutes is often enough time to suddenly realize that you have been working on the task for half an hour. Starting is always the hardest part, and 2 minutes is the time that is easy enough to commit to. And after 2 minutes, you most likely feel stupid stopping there, because you literally just started out. So that 2 minutes in most cases automatically turns into something greater. Even if you don't manage to surpass the 2-minute mark, don't judge yourself. You are learning a new habit after all, and that will take its time to form. Besides, 2 minutes is an infinite improvement to 0 minutes. Even as little as just getting started can sometimes trick your brain into doing it mode. For example, just changing your exercise clothes can trick your brain into thinking like, looks like we are going to the gym. Your initial goal was just get ready, and because you did, you start feeling stupid to stop there or go back. Much like with the 2-minute rule. Obviously, the 2-minute rule is just a starting point. To reach flow, it's essential to match the difficulty level of your task to your skill level. When getting started is no longer a problem, raise the bar. Start committing for at least 10 or 20 minutes at once on a task, for instance. As you are getting better at what you do, constantly up the difficulty. The sweet spot is challenging, right in the middle between overwhelming and boring. There's your flow. Here's the quick recap, how to trick your brain into liking hard things. By learning how to spike dopamine from the effort instead of the end result. And how to do that? Step 1. Start shifting your identity. Start this by consciously changing your thoughts and self-talk towards the desired identity, because they are the roots to changing your actions and ultimately the results. The goal is to gain the identity of a person who intrinsically enjoys the process and celebrates the progress more than the potential trophy at the end. That, by the way, is ironically the best shot at achieving it too. Step 2. Start creating new habits. Start small and progress over time, little by little, so that the difficulty level matches your skill level. Eliminate distractions and create a success-driven environment. Your new thoughts need new actions for reinforcing your desired new identity. Step 3. Commit to the process. Nothing changes if nothing changes. It will take time to trick your brain into liking hard things, but it is doable for anyone. Make the commitment, improve every day by 1%, and see your future self thanking you on your knees. To learn more about the principles discussed in this video, check out these books. I have drawn and combined most of the big ideas in this video from these masterpieces. All of them are must read in my opinion. Links are in the description. If you found this video valuable, please hit that subscribe button for more content on forging the brain of steel of your own. Thanks for watching.